I just recorded this entire video and the mic wasn't plugged in. So here we go with take two. All right. So I am at a point in my YouTube career where people are starting to ask me my advice about gear. They ask me, how I create my videos, how I, get the color in my videos that I do, how I make the photos that I do, how I set my camera up to be able to do the things that I do. And I am humbled by that. All I have, is information that I have learned from other creators on the internet, other creators on YouTube. I think YouTube is an amazing, source for information. And so in the spirit of not gatekeeping the information that I have made a list of people who I believe are amazing content creators, and they have been instrumental in me learning the things that I have learned. I want to say really quickly that people like Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, Matty Hapoya, Mr. Beast, all of those guys go without saying. MKBHD, what they have meant to, the medium of iJustine, what they've meant to YouTube is invaluable. So I'm not excluding them from, any list that I make, but I just think that they're grandfathered onto any list that should be made. And so what I want to do is I want to give, a list of, I don't want to say smaller content creators, but maybe lesser known to, most people. So without further ado, number 8, Mark Bone. Mark Bone is a documentary filmmaker from Toronto, or I should say Canada. And here's the things that I learned from him. Number 1, I learned that a top handle is instrumental if you're going to be, filming handheld. So that's the first thing that kind of turned me on to him. Secondly, he talks about, the art that he creates. He has a full class on the art of documentary, which I think is amazing, where he teaches you just how to, if what you want to do is make documentaries, he teaches you how to make documentaries. But in all of that teaching, he has taught me, how to compose and how to tell a story and how to use my gear appropriately so that I'm doing or making the very best thing that I can make. And so learning from a documentary filmmaker, I think, is invaluable. And so, number 8, Mark Bone. Moving right along into number 7 is Brady Bessette. Here's the thing. If you think you have enough lights, Brady will very quickly let you know that you do not. And if you think that you know how to light a scene, think again. Brady Bessette will let you know, how to make it better. And that's what he does. He breaks down, how to light a scene, how he, creates these beautiful scenes. Some of the things that he does, I never would have even thought about before I started watching his channel. Really laid back dude, really humble. And if you want to learn how to light a scene, Brady Bessette is just, sometimes he's literally just hanging out on the floor with a broken arm and he decides he wants to see how soft he can make some light. So I think that's amazing. If you want to learn how to light, Brady Bessette. Moving along, number 6 is a creator by the name of Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee is a filmmaker, and the thing about Brandon Lee is he is literally a one-person filmmaker, and he makes these beautiful films. I'm always incredibly impressed by what he's able to pull off with himself and a tripod and a camera and a gimbal. He teaches gimbal movements. He teaches composition and story and how to, just move around with cameras in your hand, how to get great composures. And it's amazing. Brandon Lee, he teaches a class on filmmaking. And so if filmmaking, if the medium of filmmaking is something that you're interested in, I can't, recommend Brandon Lee, more. So Brandon Lee. Coming in at number 5 is, a photographer. His name is James Pappas. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but he is from across the pond. And one of the things that he does is he's a landscape photographer. But the thing that I have learned most from James is that landscape in itself, although beautiful, landscape photography can be beautiful and there's a lot of things that you can do, but how do you make those photos interesting? And the thing that he does, the thing that I really caught on to early is within his landscape photography, he always tries to include something that's man-made. And doing that makes the photography really interesting because you see the juxtaposition of those two things. And so it really just is captivating. Listen, a photo of the Brooklyn Bridge is always going to be a photo of the Brooklyn Bridge. A photo of the Golden Gate Bridge is always going to be a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge. But what do you include in those photos? What should I include in those photos to make those photos more interesting? And that's what I've learned from James Pappas. And he's a funny dude, and it's just really enjoyable to watch his video. So, James Pappas, if you guys are finding this type of video valuable, let me know with a like. It really helps the algorithm, and it really helps me out, you know, as I continue to try to grow this channel. Moving right along. Coming in at number 4 is YC Imaging. The thing that I love about YC's channel is not only does he, you know, give a lot, and I mean a lot of, you know, instruction on how to make music videos, and that's what he does a lot of. He, you know, breaks down how he makes these music videos, you know, how he comes up with, you know, the look and the lighting for these music videos. So if you're a person who wants to be able to do that type of work, YC is amazing at that, and I think that he might be the go-to guy for videos like that. But the thing that I really love about YC is that he is incredibly genuine, and in his videos, you know, he makes really personal, really truthful videos about himself, the struggles that he goes through, you know, with, you know, trying to, you know, run this YouTube channel and being a filmmaker who makes music videos, the struggles, you know, with artists and things like that, the struggles that he goes through, you know, as a husband and a father, trying to balance that whole, you know, work-life thing. And so he is the first, you know, real YouTuber who I felt like was being completely honest in his videos. And so, yeah, I was really captivated by that. And also I learned how to film myself. You know, it goes a long way to the fact that, you know, YC and I look alike. And so you might be a person who doesn't think that representation matters. I'm a person who absolutely does. And so I thought it was really instrumental in being able to see, you know, myself in YC. So YC, if you're watching, thanks. Moving right along, number 4 is Julia Trotty. Look, top 3, Julia is fantastic. Like me, she's a portrait photographer. I think what people really take for granted is that, you know, portrait photographers aren't real. I just don't think we get a lot of credit for the things that we do. You know, there's a different conversation to be had about that. But the thing that I love about Julia is that in her videos, she really uses her talent as a portrait photography to kind of, you know, test cameras and test, you know, her gear. But the thing that really comes through is that she makes beautiful photos, and to the point where I think I can look at a photo and know that it's Julia's photo. And it's not just about, you know, a color grade. It's not just about, you know, a LUT or whatever. Julia has talent, and, you know, finding perfect light or finding perfect backgrounds or being able to use the exact correct lens to tell, you know, a story about where she is. She has that in spades. And I think she does a really great job of, you know, making her videos really kind of show her talent. And so I've learned a lot from that. I'm a better photographer because of Julia Trotty. And so roses to Julia Trotty. Check out her channel. One thing that I want to mention about all of these creators that they have in common, and it's one of the things that, you know, I really stress in my videos, is that I don't ever feel like these guys are trying to sell me on gear or trying to sell me on an Amazon link or a B&H link or whatever. They might, self-promote, you know, their LUTs or, you know, their classes or something like that. but I don't think that they're ever trying to sell me on gear. And so that's one thing that they have in common, and it's something that I have tried to, you know, also include in my videos. And so I wanted to mention that. Top two. Number 2 is a creator by the name of Oxout. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll link it down below, but he's a creator from Japan. And listen, if you ever want to look at something, or if you've ever looked at something and you just kind of felt it, you just want to feel something, Oxout is the guy to do it. And here's the thing, most of his videos are in Japanese, so I end up reading a lot of captions, but he just makes these beautiful videos where he goes out and he films and he color grades them, and it's incredible what he can do with his gear. And one of the things that I find amazing is that he can do it with a Sony a7 IV, or an Xperia phone, or whatever you put in his hands, he is going to create something beautiful. And it's not only going to be beautiful, it's going to be, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. I can't explain it other than that it's an experience. And so if you want to experience it, check out Oxout. I'll link him down below. Amazing creator. And then number 1 is Velandez. Listen, Velandez is, I think, one of the most underrated YouTubers, on the medium. The work that this guy does as far as video is amazing. But he was a photographer first, and his photos are beautiful. And the thing that I found most inspiring about Velandez, especially when I started, is that Velandez stayed true to himself and where he came from. He caught a lot of heat early because he took pictures of, his friends or the places around him. And a lot of those photos, had guns in them or had weed smoke in it. But if you ask any creator, you ask any filmmaker, you ask anybody who makes vlogs or creates photos, the thing that they'll tell you first is to find a way to make your everyday life interesting to the people who are viewing. And I thought that Velandez did that with spades. People, came at him and said that he was, celebrating gun violence and stuff like that. Listen, BS, right? This man took those photos, he took those places around him, and he made beautiful, beautiful photos. He is, I think, an amazing photographer. And now what he's doing with video is even more amazing. He stayed true to himself. He told his story. He told the story about the places around him. And man, the kid is talented, man. And so Velandez is number 1 on my list. If you want to learn just about staying true to yourself, and about pushing the envelope, and just about making beautiful, beautiful content, photos and video, Velandez is top of that list, man. And so that's my list. Shout out to Dylan Blackburn and also Danny Gevertz, because they're also amazing, amazing content creators. But that's it. Who makes your list? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this list, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.